Good morning, welcome back. Tuesday morning, you're watching Squawk Countdown to the Open here on CNBC Europe. I'm Guy Johnson. Music clips, videos and movie trailers are tipped to be the biggest growth area for mobile phones in 2007. Our next guest runs a company that is offering content free of charge. Saul Cato is the CEO of Qwikker and joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to see you in the studio. What you're doing here is effectively disaggregating the mobile operators from the delivery of content to mobile phones. How on earth are you achieving this?
Yeah, actually we're using locations, physical locations out in public, pubs, clubs, places where people congregate, places where people do social things, and using those as direct delivery points. So we're bypassing the whole carrier network.
And you're doing this via Bluetooth?
Typically via Bluetooth. That's the dominant way to use.
So presuming I've got to have my mobile phone on with the Bluetooth turned on for this to actually work.
And you've got to opt in.
Right.
So it's all very user driven.
In terms of what the business model looks like surrounding this, how does that work?
The business model is something we call Freemium. It's sort of an evolution of the advertising model in general, and you're seeing this kind of happen across the board, especially in the internet. The idea that user-driven content networks are driven by the user and therefore have to be driven by valuable content. And so it is an ad model in that there are large content providers and large consumer brands that are paying to deliver their message throughout an audience, but they have to do that on the basis of user actions. So it's what we call freemium, which is free content to the end user. There's no data charges. The user can freely trade and swap the content, but they are effectively delivering a message, and we then charge back the individual content provider based on how successful that campaign is.
Does Bluetooth have the bandwidth capabilities to deliver the kind of content you would ultimately like to achieve, or is this something that is obviously going to migrate towards Wi-Fi, etc., etc.?
Well, Bluetooth is right now very good. It's actually much faster and more reliable than the existing networks out there. It's a direct shot into your phone. You get it, you go, you're done. You get the whole video or music clip there, and you're gone. Bluetooth itself will evolve. Wi-Fi is coming on strong. Basically, the speed of the networks are getting faster and faster.
Let's bring in the rest of the team. Louisa has a question.
So, yeah, good morning. The problem that I see with this is precisely that it is user-driven and that the user is very fickle, and one thing becomes popular for a month and then it's gone the next month. And I mean, is this really something that the user wants, and does the user want to receive all these downloads? Does the user want to be part of this advertising network in essence?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a great question. It's actually a self-regulating piece of the whole story, which is that if your content's not exciting, it won't proliferate, and you won't have a successful campaign. So really, people are all about trying to figure out what is going to appeal to the end user. Music is strongly appealing in a club, for example.
Yeah.
We're seeing about 30% opt-in rates, which is way higher than anything you'll see in a direct marketing or even in a broadcast format in terms of acceptance.
So, I've got a question about the technology, because on televisions at home now we have technology which means we don't have to watch adverts. We can whiz through. We have PVRs which sort all of that out for us. Somebody is going to invent technology which is going to take all the wonders of your service and others, but they're going to strip out all the advertising. That's going to kill the model, isn't it?
Well, actually, we don't have separated advertising. That's the concept of freemium. The content itself is the message, if you will. So people are willingly getting this. They're getting music because they want the music. It just happens to be sponsored by a Coca-Cola, for example. So there really is no way. We're not doing interstitial ads, for example.
Inseparable.
They are inseparable, and that's a trend you'll see in the internet. I mean, the viral video phenomenon is all driven by the video itself.
So, do you get the impression that people want more diversified content from here? Because I've always thought that the content available has been pretty shabby in many ways, and the price for it has been far too expensive. Are we talking about music videos and that's a line in the sand, or is there other content that you can see on the horizon that people are going to get at a good price and they're going to get sufficient enough quality of that content?
Yeah, I think you'll see the content go up drastically in terms of quality, and the price will rapidly go down. Price has been a big friction factor in this market so far. Mobile content, how big it is now, could be a factor of 10x if the economics were right for the end user.
How does this, from the operator's point of view, what you're doing here is stripping them out of the equation. You are going direct to source via a different transmission mechanism. How are they likely to respond to this, do you feel?
Well, actually, some of the carriers are our customers as well.
Right.
3, for example, and Orange have both driven content-based campaigns through the system because they as well need a way of exposing consumers to new content. And their own networks aren't really good for that. So we're not really cutting them out because once you take the content onto your phone and you're out of that location, if you want to do something with that, share that with a friend, access more content, more related content, you're going to use your own phone connection. And then you're going to use your data connection, and they'll get their money for that.
Could you imagine yourself selling out to a telecoms operator?
Unlikely it would be an operator. Probably some other large network infrastructure player in the tech space or in the internet media space that wants to get into mobile content delivery and doesn't have a way to do it through the carriers.
So, great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for your time coming in and telling us what's going on with the business. Sol Caton, CEO of Qwikker. Right, let's get back to our guest host this morning. Steve Jakobsen is the Chief Investment